Southwest Topeka has a good neighbor. State Farm agent Jim Garrison, now at 29th and Urish. If your current insurance situation has you going around in circles, get off the roundabout and stop in and meet Jim and his wonderfully efficient staff. Let Jim Garrison give you a quote and make the Garrison comparison. He's confident that with State Farm's competitive rates, the right coverage, and his unmatched service, you'll want to make him your new insurance agent. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and Jim Garrison is there for you, northeast of the roundabout at 29th and Urish.
When someone has a passion for what they do, it comes through in the product they provide their customers. Just ask LaRocco's Pizza's new owner, Jason Johnson, about their crust. They make it every day and let it rise for a minimum of 24 hours before they use it for their pizza. And his staff doesn't want to do anything they won't be the best at, and you can taste it in their pizza. LaRocco's Pizza, just a half block north of the I-470 and Gage Boulevard exit. Come taste the difference.
It's time for Real Estate 101 with the Carrie Brown team from Realty Executives Preferred Advisors.
Good Saturday morning to you. This is Carrie Brown, broker owner of Realty Executives Preferred Advisors. And today I have no voice again. So Tim Coling, who is a listing agent on my team, he is a full-time listing agent and has an extensive background in both marketing and radio. So he's the perfect guy to be doing this interview in lieu of me, so you don't have to listen to this voice. Tim's going to be interviewing Tina Carter, and Tina is she's the founder and the executive director of You Can Begin Again and You Can Begin Again Too. So Tim, I'm going to let you take it away.
All right. Well, thank you. Good morning, everyone. We've been making fun of Carrie all week with her voice, so now I have to pay for it here. So Tina, since we found out what your organization does, you really kind of fill a gap that was that needed to be filled with after they aged out of the foster care process. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So what happened to those? What would happen to those girls in this case once you got to that point?
Well, the way it goes, Tim, is that there's so many young people in foster care. If you really think about it, when they're in foster care, they're feeling their feelings are hurt. Right. They're feeling abandoned and ashamed and a little lost. And while they're in placement, they may not take advantage of everything that social services or the CASAs or may have for them to do. Okay. And what happens is when they get out at 18, they're just lost. Yeah. And so there's nobody to take care of them, nobody to help them through. I always tell people, you have children, and are your children absolutely ready to go out on their own at 18 with no kind of support and no kind of help?
I'm still not ready at my age.
And so if you just look at these children that's been in foster care,
right?
Some of them been in multiple placements. And when I'm saying multiple, I mean up to 10, 12. I had a girl that was in 27 different placements before she came to me. So if you could imagine learning these rules and then getting kicked out, learning these rules and getting kicked out, they have not learned anything to sustain them.
So they never had a good support structure before, and now they're on their own.
Now they're on their own.
Okay.
And I have seen quite a few young women that would just go into prostitution or anything just to support themselves or be in a domestic violence relationship. Right. And their reasoning was, if I'm beat a couple of times a month, at least I still have a roof over my head and food in my stomach.
Wow.
So they feel like they have no other choice.
So what different types of programs do you do when they come to you?
Well, when they come to us, first of all, we have an interviewing process. And, so everybody may not get in because there's some that may need more therapeutic help than we're able to offer, but we're more empowerment. And so when they come in, we give them 2 years of housing.
Okay.
That's life skills training and case management. What that entails is we furnish their houses all the way from pots and pans and dishes to bedroom sets, everything. And when they walk in, they're probably just bringing the little clothes that they do have. And when they walk in, it's a place of beauty. I don't put anything that I won't sit in their apartments or anything like that, because I was just I was always taught to do everything with a spirit of excellence. Mm-hmm. And there's a method behind the madness, because if you keep giving people what they always got, which is probably nothing, then they keep looking at they're not worth anything.
Right.
And so we don't. That's one thing that we have a high quality mentality of how we want them to live.
Right.
And I think it was birthed really out of seeing a young woman. She went over to my girlfriend's house to get some water. And could just imagine this, that she wanted water. We told her to go to the kitchen and get it. She was in the kitchen for over 10 minutes. She was in the kitchen 10 minutes. And we said, what do you want? What are you doing? Did you find the water? And
Right.
she was like, yeah. She said, I never saw matching dishes before.
Oh, my.
So a red flag went up. You know, this child has never seen matching dishes. So of course, I put nothing but everything matching in there. So if you come see our places, our first home is kind of like in the blues, and everything flows from the living room to the kitchen to the bathroom and the bedroom. Everything kind of flows, color coordinated, things like that. Matching dishes, of course, matching glasses, of course, everything matching, because you know what we would take for granted, it means so much to them.
I can imagine. So you're giving them a sense of structure. And a sense
Yes.
of, yeah. So, you mentioned they can stay with you for 2 years. What
2
age
years.
range?
18 to 25.
18 to 25. Okay.
Yes.
Now, how do they find you, or how do you find them?
We have referring agencies as social services, KVC. There's CASAs that will contact us. A lot of these children have been seeing it on the news and been calling in themselves and advocating.
Okay. So now,
and then churches, of course,
Okay.
religious organizations have also been calling us about.
Okay. So then, when they're there with you for those 2 years, are you getting them ready to go out into society, or
Most definitely.
Okay.
Most definitely. First off, if they don't have their high school diploma or GED, that's the first thing that they have to do. Without going into any of the other programs, the first thing they have to get registered in school, start working towards their GED, because they would never be able to have make a living wage without it.
Right.
And so that could be the difference between earning $7 an hour and $15 an hour. So most definitely that's the first thing. But when they first come in, we have foundations to success. You know, according to Maslow's theory, you can't even think about thriving or doing anything positive if you don't have your basic needs met.
Right.
So our foundations to success is really getting them in, leasing them up into the apartments, getting them settled in, and then we perform assessments from seeing if they know their needs from their wants. You know, because you'll be surprised how many, well, you probably won't be surprised. They would think that a need would be some Nike tennis shoes versus the need really being keeping my lights on.
Yeah.
And so we do assessments such as needs and wants, healthy relationships. Do you know what a healthy relationship look like?
Right.
Because a lot of children don't even know what that feels like. You know, a lot of children are doing things that are perverse only because they need a touch. And they don't care who's touching them. They just need somebody to touch them, to let them know that they're alive and that they could be loved, even if it's for 1 minute. If you're touching me for 1 minute, that's better than nobody touching me at all. And so what we try to do is we try to get them settled in. We perform all these different assessments. Then we sit down with them and we build an individualized growth plan. So every child, every young woman's plan is going to be different. Those that have already finished school, we'll look at, okay, well, do you want to do post-secondary education? So there's some that may want to go to college, or some may want to learn a trade. And then we help them in that aspect to get into Washburn University, or to get into some of the other trade schools that they could get into to learn how to be successful in what they do. And also just to teach them the art of getting a job, but not just getting a job, but how to keep it.
Correct.
You have to go to work.
Yeah.
On time every day.
Right.
You know, you can't just call in because you want to stay out all night.
Right.
But, you know, in our organization, they don't stay out all night. But we don't, it's independent living, but we have a set of rules that's established. There's no men in the apartments. And if you're leading an alternative lifestyle, your woman can't be in there either, because that's the same principle.
Same thing, yep.
And so, like I tell them, I don't care what you are. the same rules apply towards everybody.
Right.
And what we do is, because this is a time that you have to focus on you, so you may have to give up some things to focus on getting yourself together.
Right.
And then what we do, and they can have company, they can't have overnight guests.
Right.
Oh, let's put it that way. And no men allowed in the apartments at all. Because we have to look at the safety of all the young women that's going to be there.
Right. So I bet you have some amazing success stories, too.
I do. Oh, I have this one, and, she is just so dear to my heart. And I could tell it it's not breaking any confidentiality because, she would go on tours with me and just talk about her story. But her name is Adrienne, and she may be down here shortly. She's thinking about moving out to Topeka so she could be close. But, just think about this. When she was a baby, she was taken away from her mother because her mother had severe drug issues. She was given to her grandmother. She got taken away from her grandmother because her grandmother was in a severe domestic violence relationship. Okay, so then she got placed into foster care. The foster care provider adopted her, and then she died. And then she went to her aunt, and her aunt didn't want her, and went with some friends, and they didn't want her. And then she came into my organization. Wow. Manic depressant and diabetic. Oh, Lord, what a combination. It was awful because there was times I had to pull her out of her apartment, bring her to my house, and say, okay, we got to get you healthy because she wasn't taking her insulin because she was in denial. Right. Like, I don't want to be on insulin. I want to be normal like everybody else. And it's like, well, baby, you're not normal like everybody else. You're normal, but you have to take your insulin. Right. And I would get her to a healthy place, and she'd say, Miss Tina, why do I feel so light? I said, because you feel you're healthy right now. Mm-hmm. Because I'm feeding you, and I'm making sure you're doing the things that you need to do. She didn't have her high school diploma yet. But and she didn't want to work alone. So while I was working on You Can Begin Again stuff, I would pick her up from her apartment every day, and she would sit there at the table. She's working on schoolwork, and I'm working on You Can Begin Again. And it was comical because this is what we had to do with her because she had no motivation to do it by herself. Right. So we just had to help her. She was a manic depressant and a diabetic. Yeah. And so I would go to all of her therapy meetings with her because she didn't want to go by herself. Yeah. And it was almost like treating her like, I don't know, she was grown, but she needed so much care. And one day I was in a meeting, and she called me, and she was blowing up my phone, and I was like, I'll call you later, and she was like, now. And I was like, no, I'll call you later. And as soon as I got out of my meeting, I called her, and she said, I did it. And I said, what did you do? She said, I got my high school diploma. And it was so wonderful, but she did not leave there because she wanted them to tell me that she really got it because I was like, you're lying. She said, no, I'm still here. And she got it. And right after she got her high school diploma, she got a good job.
Good.
And she got a job, and she was in my front room, and she said, Miss Tina, is this what you was trying to get me to see? And I said, yeah. She said, I got it.
She just never had that chance before.
She's never had that chance. Man. And so she has a story on my website. One of her testimonial, she said that she was a flower that just needed some watering to help her to grow,
That's
And when I talk about it, it just makes me come to tears because she's just, when I look at all the things that she had to face.
Yeah.
All the obstacles she had to go through. And yet she persevered. Yeah. And she would tell me all the time, you're doing too much. And I said, no, you're not doing enough. Yep. And she said she just knew that I was right, so she would just do it, Right. But yeah.
So how long have you had the organization?
We incorporated in 2008. Okay. We opened our first home in 2010.
All right.
Yeah.
So how many young ladies have came through the program?
In Colorado, over 20 young women, 8 children.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So what do you, as far as local partnerships, what are you looking for? Is there ways that organizations can help you, or?
You know what? We're always looking at organizations to help us. We have an 11-unit building to furnish.
Wow.
And that's not little, because if you go to Walmart just to get basic stuff, to put in. I mean, we're talking everybody has to have a microwave.
Right.
Because these young women, they don't, if they don't know how to cook, we have to make sure that they eat some type of way. And it's usually going to be to put a Hot Pocket in the microwave.
Right.
So that's a necessity, So we make sure that they have everything, and we look for partners to just come alongside of us. There's somebody that could write a check that could take care of our program.
Right.
There's somebody that could do that. Or there's somebody or we have a thing called Project 3000, where we ask people to sacrifice $5 a week. That's giving up a meal or a cup of coffee once a week. And I said, when I go to the quick shop, sometimes I buy sunflower seeds and I buy coffee and gum, most definitely gum, and different things like that. And it usually come to $9. Yeah. I said, now, if I had $5 and just sacrificed it this one day, $5, and brown bagged it, $5 a week, $20 a month, that's $260 a year. It's Project 3000. If I got 3,000 people just to donate that, to think that, I know it's a rough time for people.
Right.
But I know that we do a lot of wasting too. Mm-hmm. And if we really want to, we could find $5 in a budget once a week.
Right.
Because that's how much waste we do as Americans.
Yep.
But it wouldn't just go to waste. It would go to help these young women and other young women behind them, and then other young women. So our motto is women empowering women, women empowering themselves. We did not become great all by ourselves. Nobody could look at themselves and say, I just was born great. We've been through the storm and we've been through the rain, but there was somebody that saw potential in us, right. And they start working with us, and they start pulling that greatness out of us. And that's what I say. It's a shame that I said we cannot get comfortable. We cannot get comfortable thinking that we're great. All these women movements, all this great stuff, men, fathers, this could be your daughters. Mm-hmm. I said, it takes us all. We cannot get comfortable and think because we made it that we don't have to reach down and get our little brothers and sisters and help them make it too, because that's who they are.
So how many girls can you have in your organization as far as how much room you have?
Well, in this building, we have 11 units. Okay. So we have an apartment manager that has one of the units, and we have 10 other spaces.
Sure.
And then, but we're not confined to space because we could rent out different apartments. So if we fill up this building and we need to place another girl in another building, in another unit somewhere else around the city, we could do that. That's what we did in Colorado because we didn't want to take anybody out of their environment. So we didn't just have one location in Colorado. We, there was some that lived in Arvada and Aurora and Denver, and we would just travel to where they were. And then when we have our community meetings, they would just all come to the spot where we have the meetings, and we would be together there. Okay. It's just really good having everybody under one roof. Right. To where we could do a lot more things with them.
Okay. How often do you meet with them?
When they all get in there,
or individually, or
individually we meet every week.
Okay.
Every week, and we have the resident manager there. So if they need anything, that she's available for them, and I'm available 24/7 too. So we don't. They may need something at midnight. I'm gonna be there. Right. I'm always there.
Good.
I never cut off my phone because, sometimes they get in crises. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to be at 7 o'clock at night when it's convenient.
Right, exactly.
Ministry to me is a ministry is a ministry of inconvenience.
Correct.
Yeah.
So. All right. So what other good things have happened with the program that you can share with us?
Oh, you know what? You being so far in Topeka, what has taken place?
Yeah.
You know what? We have received so much support as far as phone calls and well wishes, and I'm just gonna put this plug out. The Mattress Hub was so gracious to us. We was getting ready for our open house, and the Mattress Hub called us and said, "You know what? We saw what you were doing, and we want to help you. So we're going to give you all your beds."
Right.
And yesterday we got all the beds in.
Perfect.
Yes. All the beds.
So everybody
Frame,
out there
mattress.
listening right now, if there's businesses that would like to help out,
Yes.
how do they get a hold of you?
They could call me at 720-300-0029 or they could reach me at Open Arms Outreach Ministries at 2401 Southeast 11th Street.
Perfect.
But it was just a blessing because what they said is that they saw it and they wanted to help.
Right.
And you know what? And I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I'm looking for some furniture stores to say, oh, we want to help too. So we may have a couch or we could donate some tables or something,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we should put a challenge out there.
yes, put a challenge out there.
Well, we're going to go to a quick break, and after that, we'll come back and learn a little bit more.
When someone has a passion for what they do, it comes through in the product they provide their customers. Just ask LaRocco's Pizza's new owner, Jason Johnson, about their crust. They make it every day and let it rise for a minimum of 24 hours before they use it for their pizza. And his staff doesn't want to do anything they won't be the best at. And you can taste it in their pizza. LaRocco's Pizza, just a half block north of the I-470 and Gage Boulevard exit. Come taste the difference.
This is Stephen Parkin at Invista Credit Union. Purchasing a home is one of the most exciting and important decisions someone can make. Let me tell you why Invista is the best choice for financing your new home purchase. First, quick pre-approval process. Our fast decision-making gives you the power to act quickly and make an offer on your dream home. Second, local servicing. We service your mortgage in-house. You won't get a long-distance runaround, but a committed professional whose only job is to help you. Third, experienced team. We are dedicated to simplifying the process and educating you through the home buying process. Come by Invista. It's okay to dream. In fact, it's encouraged. We are your home buying partner. Give us a call at 785-228-0149.
We're back on Real Estate 101. This is Tim Colling, listing extraordinaire with Realty Executives. And we're still here with Tina, the executive director and founder of You Can Begin Again and You Can Begin Again Too. And some of the programs you've talked a little bit about the Project 3000. Let's tell us a little bit about the Successful New Beginnings.
Okay, well, before we go to Successful New Beginnings, we have to do Bridging to Success.
Okay,
so we talked about foundations to success,
yes,
and that's meeting their basic needs and getting them in. Bridging to Success is where we implement all their individualized growth plan.
Okay.
So if it's to go to school, then that's what we start implementing. So, and then saving money, getting a job, paying the utilities. We start implementing all the services that we need. Successful New Beginnings is when they get ready to leave You Can Begin Again. That means that they would have mastered their life skills. They would know how to grocery shop and meal plan. They would know how to keep a house clean because that's critical, keeping your house clean. They would learn how to go to work and stay at work and keep a job. They would, have a foot in the educational programs. So all these things they would have under their belt, and they would have so much money saved in the bank. So our vision is that we pay the rent. We do all that. But what they have to do is they have to save. So we give them a savings account, and they save half of their checks. And once they leave our program, they should have about $7,000 to start all over again. And then when they leave, if they complete our program successfully, everything that we have provided for them, they get to keep it.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. So then they don't have to go out and spend that $7,000 trying to, get furniture and trying to get dishes and all that kind of stuff. Everything that we provided, we let them keep.
Excellent. Okay. So what are some of the other programs?
Those are three major programs, and that basically takes up. But we do meal planning, and so twice a month we're going to each other's apartments, and we learn how to cook a healthy meal together, and then everybody will be there and participating in the meal, and then we eat it together. Yeah,
that's a really good idea. So now you have You Begin Again Too. What is that?
Okay, so You Can Be. Let me just tell you the difference between it. You Can Begin Again is what we initially just started off with, because what we saw was that there was a need that the young women coming out of foster care that did not have children but they didn't have no kind of support. And if they wasn't coupled with something, if they wasn't drunk, if they wasn't alcoholics, or if they wasn't dope addicts, or if they wasn't pregnant and having babies, then they couldn't get no governmental assistance. So they was just the ones that had to go down to the spot or somewhere like that where all the dope dealers were and where all the sexual predators were. And that's where they had to go because there was nobody to take care of them. So that's what really triggered it, because it's like, well, why do they have to get pregnant just to get some help?
Right.
Or why do they have to be on drugs to get some help? And so You Can Begin Again was just for young women that did not have children but could not get help. And then once we started You Can Begin Again, we started getting calls from all these other people coming out of foster care with children. And they said, what about us? And so we said, okay, you can begin again too. you know? So that's how we got it. You Can Begin Again too is for young women only coming out of foster care with children. Now, You Can Begin Again, we take community girls. So it could be those emancipating from foster care and community girls that don't have children. But You Can Begin Again too is only for those that are coming out of foster care with children.
Excellent. Okay. So we don't have a lot of time left, but let's say all the thousands of people listening right now, if you were to ask them for a favor to help your organization, what would you like to ask?
First of all, I asked them to pray for us, because this is a great undertaking to help mold and change the lives of young women. Then I would ask them to search themselves and to see if there's something that they could do. Maybe they could partner with us. Maybe they could be the one that would sacrifice $25 a month to help us to defray the cost of our services. Right. Or maybe if you're at Walmart and you're shopping, that you'll pick up some pillows or a microwave or some pots and pans and dishes or something like that to help us out. So,
okay, that's a great example. Is there any volunteer opportunities or?
Oh yes, please. Let's talk about that. We're not like a Mile High, a United Way, or maybe the Rescue Mission that have tons and tons of volunteers. But we do have volunteer opportunities, and they say, "What do you need?" And I said, "Whatever you like to do." Mm-hmm. And you know why? Because I need grant writers. But if I see you and I say, I want you to write a grant, but that's not your passion, you're not going to do it. So my whole thing, it has always been, I want you to operate where your gift is. Right. So if that's whatever your gift is, that's where I want you to operate, because then it won't be like work to you. It'll be like something that you will enjoy. So,
exactly.
So that's what I want. I want them to come alongside of us and whatever it is that they want to do.
Okay.
That could be a service to us, because we need everything.
So we've got about a minute left in the show. Are there girls out there that don't know about you, or is there still some out there that have that need that might not know where to go?
Yeah, there's tons of girls. I say contact your case managers, contact someone in your church, contact somebody, or contact me directly, 720-300-0029.
All right. Well, Tina, thank you so much for sharing your story and telling us what you do. Give us your website as somewhere people can go to find out more.
Okay, website is www.youcanbeginagain.org.
Okay. Give me that one more time.
www.youcanbeginagain.org.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you all out there for listening to another Real Estate 101. And if you are online looking for homes, go to preferredadvisorsteam.com and look at everything we have out there. Thanks again.
Thank you for listening to Real Estate 101 with the Carrie Brown team from Realty Executives Preferred Advisors.